Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this is one of two videos that I'm going to do. Now I've just done a video earlier regarding East Midlands Airport and the security situation now, so check back on that. But this is for two exciting series that are going to be happening this week, starting with later today, Tuesday the 29th of July 2025. Now, this first series, and I did kind of mention it the other day, okay? I've not been to this place since I was 8 years old. Now, I'm not going to keep it a secret because there's no need. There's no need, because you'd find out anyway, because of me creating the playlist and putting the video in the playlist, so you would know straight away. So I'm not going to keep it quiet about it. This place I have not been to since I was 8 years old, which is 36 years ago. Because I went with a family that used to live up the same road as me, and they took me to this place when I was a child. There is another place I'm planning to go to possibly in August as well, which I have mentioned on the video the other day. Again, I went there with this same family when I was 8 years old, so I've not been to that place since then either. But this one is in Dudley. Well, in fact, they're both in Dudley, okay? The first one I mentioned the other day was the Black Country Museum. That is going to happen most likely in August, during August, okay? But I will update you on that one at a later date. Now, I've just booked this one not long ago. So I'm going to be heading to Dudley Zoo and Castle, okay? That's where I'm going to be going in the next few hours. In about 8 or 9 hours' time, I'm going to be heading down to Dudley, because it's coming up for 1 o'clock in the morning at the moment, right? So I'm going to be heading to Dudley Zoo and Castle on Tuesday, which is basically today, but later on in the morning, okay? Now, I've pre-booked the ticket. So online, it's £20.90. I've also decided to include a guidebook to the zoo and castle as well, because like I've said, I've not been since I was a child. So to go back as an adult, 36 years later, it's going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting. There are 1,500 animals at this zoo as well. I'm quite surprised. But there are 1,500 animals at this zoo. So, including sea lions that we saw when we went to Terra Natura. If you remember the videos, the live streams and the videos, I saw them at Terra Natura in Benidorm. Well, they've got them here at Dudley Zoo and Castle. Because the thing with this zoo and castle is it's up on a hill above Dudley, okay? So, to get to it, I'm thinking of taking the motorway. Again, it all depends on the traffic. If the traffic is bad, there is a plan B option, which means I will head basically from here to Rugeley, like I did when I went to Robaston. The only difference is I won't head to Penkridge, I will head to Hensford. And then follow the A460, which takes you down to the M6, and then you go down the motorway, one junction, come off at junction 10, and then continue on the A460 all the way down to Wolverhampton, and then you head for Dudley. But if the motorway is okay with traffic, then I will head from here to Stafford, and then go on the motorway down to junction 10, and head along the road called the Black Country route. And you basically follow it all the way down to the bottom of Wolverhampton, and then you take the Birmingham-Tipton road, which takes you down to Dudley and then to Birmingham. And then you get to the car park for the Black Country Museum and the zoo. Now, the thing is, it's a barrier car park, similar to the one at the airport, okay? So, but what happens is you obviously go through the barrier, park your car up, go to the entrance, and I've got the ticket on my phone, which is a barcode. So they will give me my car park token, which I have to keep all day. So when I leave the car park at the end of the day, I put the token in, the barrier will lift, because that basically pays for your parking. So if you don't opt, when you book the tickets online, and I'm going to put the links in the description of this video, when you don't put the option to buy the token, then you've got to pay with your card on the day that you're there, or go to a car park machine and put the money in or whatever. But you're better to pre-book, because it's the same with the Twycross Zoo. You have to pre-book the parking there, even though I've got an annual pass. You now have to pay £3 parking. So you have to put your number plate in, because it's automatic number plate recognition cameras that read your plate when you arrive. Now with this zoo, I've not been, like I've said, since I was 8 years old. So it's going to be interesting, and it's on the hill. So you're basically starting from ground level and working your way up levels, right? So the zoo basically is all on levels. So you go up like a snake level, okay, all the way up to the top. And there is a train that can bring you back down to the car park if you don't fancy the walk. And there are certain paths that you can't really take buggies and pushchairs if you've got kids. So the zoo is on a hill. But in the castle, it's interesting because I've seen a couple of videos earlier on, and it gives like the history of the castle, like the Tudor times. And also there's some animals in there, some castle creatures, like rats and different things that you would find in a castle from years ago. So it looks interesting. And they've also got capybaras, okay, and camels. And like I said, they've got sea lions, they've got reptiles, they've got monkeys, they've got flamingos, and other animals up there as well. They've got 1,500 and lions as well. So they've got 1,500 animals at this zoo, which is included with the castle. So you can go into the castle and around the zoo. So it's open from 10 o'clock till 5:30. So my ticket actually is valid from 10 o'clock. But the option I selected was between 10 o'clock and 5 to 11. Because you've got to remember, I live an hour away from the zoo, and there's the traffic to consider. So if they do say anything when I get there, I'll just say, well, I am sorry if I'm a bit late, but I live over an hour away and I've had to deal with traffic to get here. Right? But it's all right, because even if I get to the zoo at 10:30, I've still got 7 hours because it shuts at 5:30. So I've got all day. And then I've got the journey back, which will probably be more of a nightmare than going, because people will be knocking off work, won't they? 5 o'clock, 5:30. So the motorway will just be an absolute nightmare. But again, I'm travelling north, not south. But again, I will have to deal with traffic. So it might take an hour, hour and a half to get home. But that's fine, because it's a full day. Considering I went to Shrewsbury last week and I got home roughly a similar time, 8 o'clock. So I'm used to it. So that is the series, the first of at least 2 or 3 that are coming this week. So stay tuned for future videos for the other series that I've booked. Okay. So this one will be Dudley Zoo and Castle for the Tuesday, which is basically today. Okay. So the ticket is booked. It's on my phone. So I'm looking forward to going. I've not been since I was 8 years old. I did buy some sandwiches when I was at work earlier as well. They're in the car. Okay. So I've left them in the car specifically. So I've got my man bag upstairs so I can put a few bags of crisps in and chocolate bars. So in the morning, I've set the alarm for 8:30. So I've set the alarm. So I'll be heading over to Dudley tomorrow in the morning for the zoo and castle. So it's given out a bit of a drizzly weather, but again, it'll probably clear off. And I've got my poncho upstairs, and I can always shove that in my bag if it gets a bit dodgy. I can always take it with me, because if I'm going to be driving down there, it's going to take an hour anyway. So you can do what it wants while I'm driving. But I can always get my poncho out when I get down there and put it on. But the chances are it'll just clear off. The weather will just improve. So that's the plan anyway. So that's the first series I'm doing this week. So please subscribe at CarlSmith25, and let's go to Dudley Zoo tomorrow and the castle. And I'm sure you will enjoy the videos. Plus it gives me practice with regard to my editing, because I had to re-edit the Rob Baston ones and the Shrewsbury ones. So now the footage is the correct ratio. So again, please subscribe at CarlSmith25, and I hope you enjoy the Dudley Zoo and Castle series.